All right, back here in New York, there's a study that came out today showing that student loan debt may prevent retirement security for millions and millions of older workers. So let's bring Doug Flynn in on this. Certified financial planner, co-founder at Flynn Zito, joins us today. So student loan preventing retirement security, that's what the study says. We'll put some of this up on the screen and then you can talk us through it, where they're saying the bottom 50% of incomes, people less than 55 grand or thereabout with the highest debt, middle 40%, 54 to 192. Average debt, top 10 over 192, owing 33,000. Your take on this?
Yeah, this is about people who are over 55, and so they're looking at people who made investments in their education at ages over 55. And the crazy part about this is about a third of these people are unemployed. And so a lot of them maybe didn't finish school. So they're carrying this debt and they didn't get that bump that you would expect to get from finishing your degree. So it's creating a burden on them in their later years when they don't really have a lot of years left to save for retirement. So perhaps they have to work longer or save less, are some of the outcomes of this.
Imagine what this would be like for the kids just getting out of school now with so much more debt, just in numerical terms, than these people had years ago, and what this would add up to. So it could be, it could be a lot more. Right?
Yeah, and this doesn't even include parents who take debt out for their children. That is a whole other amount of money that sometimes people want to send their kids to the best school they can get into, regardless of affordability. This is not even including that. This is just their own debt. And sometimes, people don't always do a cost-benefit analysis on college educations, and sometimes you're paying for it well into your 50s, which most people would not believe that they would still be doing that.
No, I mean, a lot of people don't do that analysis. We've just started having that conversation. You and I have talked about it a lot, this, more trade school applications and all that kind of thing. Is it really worth it? And, years ago, people would do it far less. This topic I like, from the Wall Street Journal: how much happiness can your salary buy? So they say there's no magic number in terms of the researchers. They can't agree. I would think that's because obviously it depends on where you live. There could be some miserable people making a couple $1 million a year in New York here walking around these streets. Who knows?
That's right. Yeah, it's a very individualized number, and these kind of studies are trying to put an overall number on it. They came up with a number like 75,000 in 2010, which equates to about $110,000 today, where beyond that, you're getting a diminished return for that extra bit of income. You get less and less happiness per. But I have to tell you, it really comes down to the individual. What is their magic number? And that's part of what we're doing, actually, as certified financial planners, is trying to identify what is your unique as a family magic number, because you may or may not be at it. You might be above it, you might be below it. And it's totally different than your next door neighbor, than your cousin, than your parents, than anybody else. And so it's hard to punch this into a study. But at the end of the day, I always think, more money's less, more money's better than less. And that's kind of the feeling, is people tend to be a little bit happier when their basic necessities are covered and those extras become more of a choice. I want to get a new car, not I have to get a new car because my old one died.
Right.
Those kinds of decisions become better when you have a little bit more money. So it's hard to put into a number in a study, I think.
It sounds to me like you're making a case for more business, because you're basically telling us, you can't really come up with this on your own. What you need to do is hire Doug Flynn, and he'll tell your family how much you need to make. That's what you're telling us, right?
Not just me.
Right?
I think anybody who does formal retirement planning can really drill down on your situation. What are your goals? When do you want to retire? What are your expenses? What's your income? And determine, hey, you can retire when you want to, or no, you have to work longer, or maybe you're carrying that debt, the student loan debt we were talking about, or maybe you're better off than you think you are. Sometimes we get to deliver that good news, and people can, and that's enlightening, by the way. When you hit that magic number, you can walk into your boss the next day and go, I don't need this anymore. My financial advisor told me so. Changes the dynamic of everything. Yes.
Yeah, Doug Flynn told me I'm good, I don't need this job, and then they go home and say, hold on a second. No, that would never happen. That would never happen. All right, Doug, thank you as always. Doug Flynn. Maybe he got some more business just from that appearance, so you get some phone calls now and say, I got to figure out my magic number. Let's look at, speaking of magic numbers,